Callide.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'd love to stand here firstly and just call out the very interesting bit of legislation that was just introduced. And of course, I won't preempt debate for when the bill moved by the member for Waterford comes back in, but there's some serious overlap with about that I was already had pre-written, Mr. Deputy Speaker, in regards to violence in the workplace and violent incidents, because of course the resources regulator has oversight of Queensland's mining sector, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And so I want to reflect on those comments that the member for Waterford just made about ensuring workers feel safe when they turn up to work. And I also want to reflect on some comments made by the member for Greenslopes, where he said that this bill to implement a board of the under Resource Safety and Health Queensland was botched and deeply flawed. And of course, legislation that the member for Greenslopes wouldn't consider surely to be botched was legislation that was drafted and enacted by a Labor government. And that legislation is the Fair Work Act of 2009, which was introduced by the then Rudd Labor government. And now we heard the member for McConnell yesterday. Of course, this morning, the self-admitted Minister for the CFMEU. Yesterday, she asked, what is the government afraid of? Well, Mr. Speaker, I can tell you what this government is afraid of. And as potentially the member for Waterford, I'd hope, given the contribution she just made. The Christopher government is afraid for the mental and physical well-being of workers in the Queensland resources sector who are subject to abuse at the hands of militant union members. Which brings me back to the Fair Work Act 2009, Mr. Speaker. I table a report of the Fair Work Ombudsman on the judgment of Justice Rangiai and the Federal Court against officials of the construction, forestry, maritime, mining and energy union for conduct which included the verbal abuse of workers at the Oakey Creek coal mine near Emerald. These union officials included Stephen Smythe, the then District President of the Queensland branch, the Mining and Energy Division, and Jade Ingham, Divisional Branch Assistant Secretary in the Queensland and Northern Territory Construction and General Branch of the CFMEU. Justice found that these union officials engaged in conduct which meant to intimidate workers and to do so used aggressive and offensive language, such as Stephen Smythe calling a coal mine worker, and now this, I won't be able to repeat this in the House, Mr. Deputy Speaker, because it is unparliamentary, but a ... scab. Jade Ingham stating that a coal mine worker, you're a ... and actually even the second word in that is unparliamentary too, Mr. Deputy Speaker, so I can't repeat that here. Now, the Justice went on to state that the contraventions of the Fair Work Act arising from the verbal abuse spanned a period of approximately 3 months. During that period, workers were verbally abused on their way to and from work each day. So are we going to see those opposite call out this behaviour from members of the CFMEU? Are they going to keep on being mates with them, Mr. Deputy Speaker? Now, Justice continued, the repeated, sustained and violent nature of the abuse would have had a detrimental effect on the well-being of the workers. And now, Mr. Speaker, last night we heard the member for McConnell's attitude toward this behaviour was. The member for McConnell proudly stated in this chamber that the CFMEU represents workers and their industry. The member made derogatory reference to the members on this side of the House in relation to the agricultural sector using the phrase, those who sit there and claim to represent. Well, we know the member for McConnell sits there. We know who the member for McConnell sits there and represents, but we will do whatever we can to ensure that neither Stephen Smythe or Jade Ingham or the rest of their ilk will ever be allowed to abuse workers in the resource sector again, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And I hope that those opposite take note. And when we get to other legislation that they might want to debate one day in this House, that they also call out the behaviour of the mates who turn up and help them get elected. And many of those members opposite have stood in this House and thanked members of the CFMEU for helping them get elected. Well, they sit in their seat because of the CFMEU, and that's the behaviour they accept, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and it's frankly not good enough. Now, Mr. Deputy Speaker, safety is never set and forget. Sorry, Member for Lockyer, I have a bit more to go. Safety is never set and forget, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And I know that when it comes to coal mine safety and mine safety, explosives and petroleum gas sector, quarrying, hard rock mining as well, there's always new environments that are to be explored that come with their own safety challenges and that might need updated legislation to safety laws. I take that interjection from the member for Lockyer. I might have been a coal mine worker. A coal mine worker who actually worked in both New South Wales and in Queensland. When I worked in Queensland, I was working under those opposite, and I spoke on some of that here yesterday when I was refuting a motion from a member opposite. But what I saw were apples and oranges as far as how the regulators in both states acted, Mr Deputy Speaker. And it's clear that we need to do a lot better in Queensland, and thankfully we have a minister now committed to working with the industry, making sure we progress this industry, but importantly protect the workers of the industry so they can go home to their families each and every night. We want to make sure that those families never have to get a phone call that it can only be horrendous to receive. That, as I've said, that I've had to work at a coal mine site where families received similar phone calls. But we need to get on with the job and deliver this to ensure that RSHQ is accountable to a board of technical experts that have a wide range of expertise to ensure that regulator is running properly. And every coal mine I go to, I hear concerns about how the regulator is not proactive, does not apply the risk focus appropriately, and needs to work with industry to deliver the outcomes of improved safety on all those sites. Now, in regards to comments about the Commissioner's role, those opposite are in here talking about how important it is. Well, the reality is they had it vacant for over a year, and when they did finally fill it, it was there for 14 working days and that new recruit resigned, Mr Deputy Speaker, and it was vacant for a very long time. And you only have to read the report of Susan Johnston to understand how that role was not being effective for safety in Queensland. And now we're going to have a board with a good set of expertise to ensure that we're progressing safety in positive light, Mr Deputy Speaker. And just quickly, I'd love to table the contribution of the resources sector to Queensland. There's 549,000 jobs supported by the sector, and it contributes $115 billion to the Queensland economy. And of course, within that, there's a lot of that goes to Callide with about 11,000 local jobs being supported thanks to the mining industry and just the electorate I represent. And I'm proud to represent the electorate of Callide, Mr Deputy Speaker. A lot of hard workers across that live and work there and receive good incomes for the sake of this industry, Mr Deputy Speaker. Now, we're going to get on with the job and ensure we have a risk-based focus with a regulator that is proactive. And when it comes to the comprehensive report, it's a very damning report, a very thorough report, a good report. But we've taken those recommendations, we've responded accordingly, but we know there's plenty more work to do, and this legislation is a fantastic step in the right direction to get that regulator back to where it needs to be to deliver better safety outcomes for Queenslanders, Mr Deputy Speaker. And finally, as I did suggest yesterday on the motion, the Land Access Ombudsman's position and functions are not abolished through this rule. We certainly respect the money of taxpayers, but we also respect property rights, and that's why we're not abolishing the role, but we're making sure it delivers the functions appropriately in a way that respects taxpayers' money, Mr Deputy Speaker. I commend the bill to the House.